Hello and welcome once again to Let's Talk Wakfu with your host Sheriff, and I'm joined again by my fellow comrade Dusty.
Hello.
And yeah, we've got a lot of positive response from the last video we did together, but no actual comments on the channel itself. So be sure to leave comments there because we're just talking to people in game and getting their reactions there. But it's just a little bit easier just when it's on the actual video itself, just to link things. But regardless of that, we're going to get straight into talking about Wakfu. One thing Dusty wants to start talking about is fecas and the incoming change, which has got concerned for a lot of people, like the spell rebound change.
Yeah, on the forums, random info from the FR side, thanks Troll for that. There has been a post about the change to the rebound spell. Now, they want to change it to a 10% damage. A lot of people have gone irate about this. I don't blame them. Personally, I do believe the spell needs changing. I completely understand where the devs are coming from. Agree 100%. But 10% is not enough. It really isn't. And it's going to force people to wear rings to boost it up to a 30%, 20%. And I don't think that's a worthy change.
It shouldn't really matter too much because they do want to totally revamp a lot of the classes, and we are going to have major nerfs, and while this could affect gameplay immensely, I think it's something the community does have to bear with. But it is an interesting concern where 10% isn't enough, but wearing is it the Macabraca fire rings?
Yeah.
Fully leveled up, you put your time into that gives you 30%. It could be a little bit overpowered. It's very, very dodgy and very hard work the devs have got to just get everything balanced. It's going to be a lot of changes coming.
Oh yeah, definitely. Another point is from a friend within the guild, Gobs. The feca blindness glyph. It seems whenever someone is on it, an enemy, it affects them. But then as soon as they walk off, it comes off. Now, I don't know if it's a bug or how true it is, but it would be interesting for us to look into it. And if the devs could either give a change or anything or news on that as well.
I think, yeah, there should definitely be some sort of after effects. It seems rather silly when you're just stuck into the glyph, considering the limited spacing of the glyph itself. It's only, was it 4 or 5 cells?
Yeah, I mean, the spacing's not a problem at all. I mean, sometimes they're even affected. If they're in the area and someone walks onto the glyph, they get hit by that. I don't think that's a problem at all. But, you know, when people are walking off of the glyphs and oozing...
Oh, yes, I understand.
It's really bad for PvP, you know. Especially if people like investing a lot of points into a really low damage spell.
It sounds like a bug, especially if you had an AP glyph, for example. You'd keep that AP for walking off it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then you've lost it the next turn. Yeah, it should definitely act like the other one. So I think that's something that needs to be reported.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to go over it. I mean, I've not tried it myself. I never use it as a glyph, but I used to. But then I'm mostly PvE, and a lot of the enemies in the game have got such a high range. You know, even taking 20 off them, it doesn't affect them much.
Oh yes. One problem, I think glyphs are just a big problem, regardless. I mean, think about the problems with Inus and fecas.
Oh yeah, God, you know, I'm an NU. You can't come to a dungeon. Why not? I normally think, oh, it's because you've got too much prospecting and steal all that loot. No, it's because you affect fecas with your mines. It's just like, really? If you've got more than 2 NUs with maxed out mines, you've got, what, 40 mines on the ground? And, you know, and fecas can't place glyphs there, and that is a serious problem. I mean, I don't get that.
It is a bit of a complicated issue. For those of you who aren't aware, yeah, NUs have a passive where you can have mines on the battlefield, which they make use of. But the problem is, if they're teamed up with a feca, the feca can't place their glyphs on top of those mines, and that really does affect strategy.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a lot of problems, but once again the devs are working on it. As long as we make them aware of these issues, then hopefully they'll get fixed within the near future. We're going to stick with some player concerns. We've got a concern from Hoverpimp regarding Smith Magic. What's he got to say about that?
Yeah, he's just on about how limited it is now, and I totally agree. his point was that, you know, everyone's following the same trends, and it's hard not to when you're so limited in game. He mentioned how it was in Dofus, and how versatile it was, and how much more was involved, and I think this is a big problem plaguing the entire game with a lot of things. I mean, you've got 2 slots in an items that are shape rooms, so you're very limited already what you can put in there. And when you do put something in there, it can only be like 1 of 2 stats. So same builds are going to constantly stack the same runes, and they're so hard to get, and I think it's ruining the market anyway.
Yeah, you've seen some of the prices for those high-end runes, and it's very expensive, very, very expensive. And with a full understanding, I know somebody who must have crushed about 500 items, and he didn't get a single rune, and these are high-level items.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, they even say you've got more chance with the rare items. I crushed 6 oranges the other day that are worth thousands, and I got nothing.
Well, this is because it affects the entire game, because people might take the attitude, okay, you know, crushing items for runes isn't the best thing to do. I might as well go mining, make some money, and then I can buy any runes that come on the market. The problem is, if everyone's mining and there's limited spacing, yeah, that's going to be a lot of drama, a lot of aggro. It has backlashes on the community.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think there just needs to be more versatility. I know at the moment certain runes aren't in the game, and I think they should be. I think when they release the runes, every rune should be available. More runes, different runes, because it adds versatility. Because people could, like me, preferring prospecting rather than chance. I can chuck prospecting in there, or a couple of range runes, but I ain't got that. So every NU, every water build's just stacking chance damage percentage, and I mean, and that is pushing the runes up to crazy prices.
So yeah, some refinement on the Smith magic is definitely something the dev should think about, just to have it a bit more versatile, a bit more pleasing, so people can get different builds up that they want. Alright, changing the topic slightly, I want to talk about, if you've played Dofus, do you remember the old collectors, or as they're better known as preceptors? Yeah, a lot of people are missing those, and with the recent guild changes, leveling up the guild and getting different things, people have been enjoying that, but I don't see a reason why we can't have preceptors in the game as well.
Oh yeah, definitely, and they increase PvP as well, which is a bonus that the game's slightly lacking at the moment. And I myself have come up with a slight idea from. I think preceptors in Wakfu could be a good point, and they could have area of effect range. If someone battles within that range, the loot that's dropped could go to partly towards the guild. I think each area can have like up to a maximum of 3 guild preceptors in it, and each guild can only put 1 in each area. And with every level the guild gets, the range slightly increases of the Preceptor's collection point. And I think it would be really good addition to the game.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. For those who don't know, of course, what Preceptors are, if you've only ever played Wakfu and not Dofus, well, in Dofus, they're something related to the guild. They would be in the area, and it used to be they taxed the area, so if players were fighting in that area, they would lose some of their experience, lose some of their items, and that caused quite a bit of aggro. But they changed that, didn't they? So the Preceptors dropped their own loot from the players' fights and actually helped players drop items and such. So it didn't so much turn into tax, but more helping. But players could still attack these Preceptors if they wanted to get what the Preceptor was holding, of course. And then the guild would have to rush there using the hyperlink to defend them. And that was a lot of fun fights. You're just there idling in the guild chat, all of a sudden one of your Preceptors have been attacked. Oh, we must rush to a raid. Yeah, very fun.
Oh yeah, definitely. I miss it.
With how big the maps are, yeah, it makes total sense. You have your Preceptor, he wanders around the map. A big AoE, which increases with your guild level. So when you start a fight or you're in a fight within his range, that's it. You get some bonuses to it, and he drops some items. And it has a bit more PvP in it. It definitely sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I just want to mention something in it. These are a couple of ideas that we've had, suggestions we've put forward. I hope you like them, and we've had a lot of response to the last video, as in good video and stuff like that, but yet no one's putting suggestions forward. Please, if you've got any ideas how you would like the game to improve, put them forward to us. We'll relay them, talk about them, and we're also looking at getting guests on the show, so it could be fun.
Yeah, we've got quite a few people who are actually going out to buy microphones just so they can come talk on the show, which is quite amusing, but then it means we can actually have more Skype conversations when we're running dungeons, that sort of thing. So we got a lot to look forward to. Coming back into more recent news, you might have noticed that we now have the option of buying 2 new insignias, the Uncle Sammy and Aunt Samantha insignias. Now, these were limited to the American server only, and they were locked out. It was for the 4th of July celebrations, and a few players issued their concern saying, oh, you know, come on, why is it just limited there? It's not silly, I want to buy them. And we raised the issue with Troil, and he went and negotiated with whoever's in charge of this whole issue, and yep, he got the insignias okayed for our region. They are limited, so if you want to purchase them, you're going to have to do it before the 9th of July, which is in a few days' time. And it's just a nice little addition because it adds a bit more variety, and of course it gives profit to Ankama, which keeps this game running, definitely.
Oh yeah, definitely, I agree 100%. And also I want to say a big thank you to Troll for the Monster Match, bringing content to free-to-play characters, getting people more involved in the game. I think this is a great start, and I need to see more of it. I want other people, if they can, to be more grateful towards the development team as well.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, just push forward and say thank you sometimes, and you'll be surprised just how far that will take us. And next time we have a moan, you never know, they might change it again.
The Monster Mash especially, some people have been complaining about it. Well, oh, you know, it's useless, why have we got that? Well, these high-level players which have access to everything, this is a great event for anyone new to the game or free to play. It adds a bit more variety to the area. So it is definitely a good step in the right direction. We can't always think about the high-end players. We have to think about it on a broad spectrum of everyone.
Oh yeah, definitely. I agree 100%. And as far as the insignias, I want to see more, and changes are happening, and it's good to see changes.
We constantly have new players coming onto the forums. Why these items are in the shop, but if I wear this item, I won't be able to wear my stat items. So what's the point in this? And it's a great issue. I really only very rarely see people wearing the normal boutique items, and that's for maybe a bit of roleplay, but it's very limiting. Yet you see insignias, and this is going back to what we raised up in the last show, that the stats on the guild insignias have kind of interfered with people wearing what they want. So that's something that needs to be refined, definitely. But having more insignias, changing how you look, adding a lot of variety, making your characters look cool, making your characters look how you want, would be a tremendous boost to the game. Because let's face it, with insignias you can already cover up what you're wearing. So why not cover up wearing what you want, making your character look awesome?
That would be another good idea.
What's
Just
that?
throw one out there. If people could wear more than one, because I noticed there's been a few comments about insignias not covering up certain equips and areas. Maybe we could wear bundles of them, or even if 2 combined cover different areas and turn into a different
That's actually a very, very good point. It's immediately got me thinking. You could have 2 insignia slots. You could have your primary and your secondary.
Yeah.
So for example, you've got the new Uncle Sammy as your primary, you put that on there, and then you could put your guild insignia in the secondary. Now the primary would obviously take up all the slots, but if there's any free spaces like the cloak or the breastplate or whatever, then the secondary would fill those. So you've got a mix match of the two, and I think that is a very good point you've raised. That would actually solve the stat issues if people have got the guild insignia in the one and the main insignia that they want in the other. That is a very good idea.
We could even come across hybrid ones.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Who knows?
But the cash shop is definitely something that needs to be improved. I'm always going to stand by that, because I just see so many other free-to-play games that make a mint of simple things, simple cosmetic things, and it's a route that Ankama should really highly think about, because I can only ever see beneficial things, because it's, at the end of the day, it's all purely cosmetic, it's all on the player discretion.
Ah, actually, this is another point I want to bring up. What you've been talking about, I remembered. There's someone on the forum that mentioned colour changes.
Oh, yes, yes.
Really interesting. Why can't we change our colour change servers and things like this. Now these options are available in Dofus. I know it's more development, but it would be more money for the game, and it would please a lot of people. I mean, if I could change my name, my colours and everything by all grinds, I would love to do it. So, I don't know about everyone else, but there's been a lot of comments.
Yeah, I actually responded in this thread, and as I was saying, a lot of people have different priorities. The game developers have different priorities with the game because they've got pressure from high-level players and want to churn out that content, and they don't want to divert their resources into something they see as a bit of a moot point. But getting the basics, getting the general layout done is very important in itself. And you see a lot of people with their pets and they've got different coloured Bao Maos, different coloured Tofus. They would definitely purchase different colours for their main character. Even if they wear equipment over it, they still like their general character avatar to look how they want. And maybe they messed it up at creation and they want to spend a bit of money to change that. That is something which is quite simply easy money for Ankama, and it keeps the players happy.
It could tie in with the point from the last show, and one I've made on the forums as well about nation change.
Yes, very important.
If people could pay for a nation change, I'm sure they will.
As a standard thing, you should have a cooldown on this because you don't want people changing nations every day. That would be silly. So they need to find a good cooldown, whether it's a week or a bit longer, who knows. But going into a lower population nation is something that needs to be free because
oh yeah, definitely. That
too many people in Bonta, too many people in Amakna, that sort of thing. In Sufukia, we've had new players go there, and they complained it's utterly dead.
Yeah, it is. I'm from there. I've always been from there. It's trust me. You can run around there all day and not see anyone.
My initial thought was have a premium service where you can pay a lot to have the privilege of changing your nation to one of the higher level nations, but of course you can transfer for free to one of the lower populations, and you never know, because you have people who've started up in the game, they've chosen nations and they're friends in real life, but they're in different nations and it's kind of affecting their gameplay.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I joined the game with a family member and they've left since, so now I'm stuck with the nation I picked, and I can't play with certain friends and do certain things because I'm stuck with the nation that I picked. It's really sad.
Because at the end of the day, they do want nations to be competitive against each other. But a lot of players don't see any benefit from that, particularly because it locks them out of content, and nobody likes getting locked out of content.
Oh yeah.
So you have your weekend wars, you have your little spats, your fights, but at the end of the day, people don't want to get locked out, so they keep things on friendly terms, and there needs to be a good healthy balance between this nation PvP and keeping players happy just grinding away at monsters and not having any PvP.
Yeah.
Oh, so much stuff that we could talk about and improve and all sorts. It's just an endless list, but that's what our future shows are going to be for. So of course, as Dusty said earlier, if you have any suggestions, if you want to make a point, then please raise them here. If you want to be a guest speaker, then of course we have no problem actually having more guest speakers and seeing what we can talk about, getting more people interested in it.
Yeah, my final point for today, I want to put a big shout out to the Hellborn Guild where I'm at now. Really fast growing guild. If however you're new to the game and watching this video and you need people that are constantly there helping you, please join. You're more than welcome.
How would these players actually contact Hellborn, because they might not be aware of how to get by that?
It's kind of funny you say that. You can either message Hellborn himself or leave a message on the forums. You'll find us about everywhere. There's also got a website. I'm sure Mr. Shiraf can put it up on the show somehow. Or in
but I'll stick it on annotations or a link to it. No problem.
Yeah, so yeah, just wanted to put that out there. Just wanted to say hi to all the guys and thank you for watching.
I recently joined this guild myself, and I must admit it is nice being in a full active guild. One problem I had is I was jumping from guild to guild, and they were okay at the start, but then people started losing interest in the game. They'd start getting less and less, and being in a dead guild just wasn't fun, and having so much choice and content from lots of players, it is very refreshing. So if you're experiencing the same thing that I was experiencing, then definitely think about having a change. It might be the best thing you ever did. Okay then, so once again we're going to wrap it up here because we've been yabbering for a long time. Thank you for watching. Please leave your suggestions, and my fucking phone is going off. That's the alarm. All right, I have to actually go because I have to go take a drive. So, thank you very much for listening. This has been
Yeah.
me, Shiraf,
And me, Dusty. Thank you.
and we'll see you for the next show.
All right, goodbye.
Bye.